One of the biggest fallacies this generation, or at least right now, currently in this current narrative, and you have to be careful because the narrative sways back and forth depending on what Sony's doing, is that the Xbox One doesn't have any exclusives. And that is completely false. And this video is going to prove that once and for all. What's up, everybody? Crapgamer here with Crapgamer Reviews. Back with another video. And, you know, going into this past E3 that just passed us by, and now we're already heading to Gamescom, a lot of people were really intent on Microsoft having to have a great show, a killer show. Turns out they did have a great show, and they didn't even need one because what Sony did was absolutely horrendous, and Microsoft could have went out there and flopped around on like a fish on stage for an hour and a half, and it still would have been better than what Sony did. But I digress. So people want to talk about exclusives, and I always bring this up. The Xbox One launched with a ton of exclusives. In that first year of the Xbox One's life cycle, think about this. You're talking Forza Motorsport 5, Forza Horizon 2, Killer Instinct, Dead Rising 3, Rise Son of Rome. You also had games like Sunset Overdrive. You also had, you had Halo Master Chief Collection. You had Titanfall. You had Max the Curse of Brotherhood. You had Crimson Dragon. You had Loco Cycle. You had Zoo Tycoon. You had a lot of these little games and mid-tier games as well. You had some timed exclusives like Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare. You had a lot of games within that first year. And in comparison, the PS4 had Knack, Killzone, and at the beginning of 2014, I believe it had, the hell is that damn game, Infamous Second Son, and then later at the end of the year, I think like a Little Big Planet title or something like that. So absolutely nothing to write home about, but people forget about that because you have to remember in 2013, 2014, exclusives didn't matter. No, they didn't matter, remember? Of course they didn't matter. The only thing that mattered back then was power and resolution. If you didn't have 1080p, you didn't have shit. So now we are back onto the game narrative because Xbox, again, wins in power. So you have to change the narrative to suit what Sony's doing, which people assume is the game narrative, but not so fast. So if you look back at it, and I will link this article so you guys can check it out, the Xbox 360 launched in 2005, and the Xbox 360 had 226 exclusive games over an 8-year period, which obviously had a lot of great exclusive franchises: Gears, Alan Wake, Halo. It had some really bad ones too. Just like every console, you're going to get good, you're going to get bad, you're going to get in between. They're not all going to be fantastic. At the beginning of this year, of course, Sony gets a lot of praise because they had games like Horizon Zero Dawn, which is a first party, Persona 5 and Nioh, which are third parties, and basically only given to Sony due to them having a really, really big presence in Japan and things like that, where Microsoft doesn't. It's not like Sony funds these games or anything like that, or these games could come to Xbox if they wanted them to. But then when you look at the rest of the year, Microsoft really kind of catches up by putting out strong holiday games this season as well. So, but here's the thing to think about, right? 226 games over a 8-year period for the Xbox 360. Right now, not even 4 years in, the Xbox One has 147 exclusives. If you double that, which is what this article is talking about, you can see a total of 294 exclusives, which that would be 294 over the 226 that the 360 had. Think about that. And people want to talk about there's no exclusives. And I know some of them might not be big and some of them might be smaller, but who cares? They might be console exclusive. I don't want to get caught up in all that stupid nonsense. I'm talking about if you can't play them on any other console, they're exclusive. That's what we all mean when we say that. And this is really, really doing a good job of pointing that out. So that's not bad at all. 147. That's fantastic in my opinion. And that really kind of dispels any kind of discrepancy that people think that the Xbox One doesn't have any exclusives or any quality games. Absolutely asinine to think that. And I'm happy to kind of dispel that. And again, I will link this article in the description so you guys can check it out. It's always good to kind of rub this stuff in people's faces. They don't know what they're talking about. Crapgamer does. Rack them up. If you like the content, hit that like and subscribe button. I would appreciate it. It helps out my channel tremendously. Thanks for watching once again. Crapgamer out.